We're just walking out of Rashtrapati Bhavan after the state dinner with President Vladimir Putin from Russia, and with me, Shashi Tharoor, chairperson of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. Dr. Tharoor, how was dinner?
Excellent. I mean, there was a time when Rashtrapati Bhavan was not known for its food. In fact, it was considered avoidable. Those days are gone. It's very, very delicious.
A lot of chatter around President Putin's visit to India at this time, given that President Donald Trump in particular seems quite upset with India-Russia ties. As a top foreign affairs expert, what do you make of that?
No, I don't think our relationship should be dependent upon what any other country thinks about it, because honestly, every country has independent relationships. You know, Mr. Trump doesn't care what we think of his relations with China, and he's been tweeting about G2 and so on. I think we have to respect his right to have the kind of relationship he wants, and similarly, he has to respect our right to have relations with the countries that matter to us, and Russia has been a crucial relationship. And I think this visit is in many ways a symbol of continuity, and at the same time I think it's an affirmation of our sovereign autonomy in a turbulent and fractured world.
I'm sure you've been to many state dinners here at Rashtrapati Bhavan. President Putin is a character of history. His presence can very clearly be felt in the room. You know you're in the presence of a historic figure. What did you make just of the energy and the presence when someone like a Putin walks in?
Well, look, I mean, I first met him way back 25 years ago when he came to the United Nations and called the Secretary General Kofi Annan, and I was with Mr. Annan at the time. And so I've seen him as a younger figure. He's obviously much older now. He's been around, as it were, for a generation. And therefore, I perhaps reacted a bit differently from what you've seen. But there is no question that he is a man in total command of his country, of his faculties, of his strategic vision. And we have to respect that and learn to deal with it. And he spoke very warmly at the banquet toast that the President and he gave, our President and he. And I must say that the warmth and the positive messaging was very welcome.
What do you make of the diplomatic trapeze that the Indian government's trying to do? Donald Trump, Europe on one side, Vladimir Putin and Russia on the other. What's your suggestion how to navigate this?
I think that's the absolutely right thing to do. I've written about our sovereign autonomy at some length, and I am proud to have coined the word multi-alignment 20 years ago. It's much truer today. We are living in a multi-aligned world. We're living in a world where each country has different relationships with different countries. The metaphor of choice is the World Wide Web. That's the kind of world we're in today, where I may be connected to you for something, you may be connected to her, and I may not be connected to her. But the fact is we each have different relationships, and we all have the potential to be connected. And the same here. We have a connection to Russia. We have a connection, for that matter, to America. We have a different connection with our problems, too, with China. But, I mean, we are not going to suddenly start saying that because of one, the other is not going to work. I think, for example, it's very important for India to develop a good relationship with Europe. And Europe remains a significant pole for us in a multipolar world. So the name of the game is multi-alignment. Align according to your needs with whoever you need to work with.
And finally, lots of chatter also around just your presence here at Rashtrapati Bhavan. I saw a lot of the people were saying there's as much curiosity in your presence as there was in Vladimir Putin's.
No, I mean, the fact remains, Rahul, that for many, many years it was standard practice for the chairman of the External Affairs Committee to be invited to every Rashtrapati Bhavan banquet. I have come to several, particularly up to and including the days of President Pranab Mukherjee. But then there was a change in attitude, I will admit, and there was a disinvitation, as it were, for some years. I'm very glad they restored the practice. I think it's a healthy practice.
You've come back after a while?
I've come back after a while. So for some years, I think that, you know, they had a different attitude. This time, it seems that they have decided to open up a little more to other voices. And frankly, because the relationships with foreign countries are precisely what the Parliamentary Standing Committee deals with, it's helpful to have some insight into what goes on in the conversations, the atmosphere, and so on. So I'm very pleased to be here for that reason. Nothing more, nothing less.
And I agree with the point that you made, that your job is to, you know, make the points of your constituents and not to constantly be in a harangue with the government. I think most sensible people watching this would agree with that.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. That has nothing to do with getting invited to Rashtrapati Bhavan, which may or may not happen otherwise. But the truth is that on the question of cooperating with the government of the day, you don't abandon your convictions or principles, but you find common ground. I mean, part of democracy And part of the cooperation between government and opposition in a democracy is about finding common ground. We disagree on some things, we agree on some things. And where we agree, we should work together.
And interestingly, when you say we don't abandon our convictions, it's suggesting that Dr. Tharoor is not abandoning the Congress party?
Listen, I mean, this is a silly question. I don't know why this has to be asked. I mean, I'm an MP of the Congress party. I went to great trouble to get elected. And it would take me, I think, considerable amount of thought and various other considerations to be anything else. I mean, I think as far as I'm concerned, I have a job to do to the voters who put me here, and I'm doing my very best to fulfill my obligations to them. Even today, in some of the conversations before we all sat down to dinner, I was trying to plug certain things for my constituency with some of the officials I was coming across here from our own government. So that's part of the lifeblood of getting things done for your people, your voters, your constituency. That's political responsibility too.
Interesting there, Dr. Tharoor, the Congress MP from Thiruvananthapuram, saying you stick to your convictions. This is part of what he believes democratic practice is, and very clearly indicating he has no intention of jumping ship. Thank you very much, Dr. Tharoor, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul.
Thank you.
Good night.